And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm touching base with you as I do every day. It is Friday again. It is Friday all over again. The week is going by fast. This is the last Friday of September. Next week it will be October. October begins, I do believe, on Tuesday. Oh, where has the year gone? So, anyway, we have a great day ahead for today. It's our Focus Friday, and we focus on things or accounts, Instagram, YouTube, anything that is going to bless us and encourage us and inspire us. And so today, I have a special guest, Miss Shawn Batey, and she is one of the loves of my life. And I'm so glad I had a chance to meet her way back, but you're going to meet her today. And I'm sure you're going to love her as much as I do. And her love for people, her love for, community. And she has she has projects and, well, we're going to get into that. But today is our Focus Friday. So welcome to Focus Friday. And let's see who's in the building. Who's the first person in the building today? Who's the one that gets the gold? It is Hannah. Hannah says, good morning, Ron and RLP family. Second place, the silver goes to Aya. She says, Grand Rising Ron and RLP with her halo. And we have third, but not last, but not least, our wonderful Amparo, the photog, is in the building. Grand Rising, RLP family. And now we got the rest of the gang. What's going on? Rashawn is in the building. Good morning and happy Friday, Ron and RLP fam. So good to see you. And who else is? Hey, my son is in the building. Adrian Florence is in the building. Rise and shine, he says. And we got my work wife in the world in the building, Miss G. Houston Jack. Good morning, y'all, she says. And Mimi's in the building. Y'all popping in. It's popping. It's like popping in like popcorn. Grand Rising Ron, RLP crew. And Janet's in the building. What's going on, Janet? I love you, Janet. Janet's in the building. She says, great morning, all. So, guys, I'm not going to hesitate because we have a guest. So we're going to dive right in, but I'm just going to give you just a little information about our guest today because I am so excited. So excited. How about this? We'll just read it together. I'll just give you the Bible. I'm just going to give it to you together. We'll do it. That's the great thing about being online. Here we go. Well, let me pop this up. Can I get this up here big? Can I pop this and make this bigger? Okay. Oh, I forgot I'm not using my Apple mouse. Shawn Batey is an activist and multimedia filmmaker whose work explores Black culture, history, and environment. She is an award-winning filmmaker with over 25 years of experience as a producer and director of documentary films. Her documentary films are distributed by Third World Newsreel and Kawali TV. Her features-length documentaries, Charging Face of Harlem, shot over a decade, 2000 to 2010, examines the revitalization of Harlem through the lens of residents and small business owners. Her work has been shown nationwide at film festivals, Maysales Documentary Center, MoMA, and on college campuses and more. And let me tell you, I met her. Well, she reached out to me out of nowhere. I get this email. It was during Black Lives Matter. It was during the whole process of everyone was out protesting. And she came up with this amazing exhibition at Restoration Center here in Brooklyn. And it was called Capture the Movement. And she says, would you mind submitting your work? and I submitted one of my photos. It was the first time I had ever had my work submitted into any like public forum, and I fell in love with Miss Shawn. She is the sweetest woman I've met in this photo journey, and so caring for so many photographers. So many photographers have. She's unified a lot of us. A lot of us never didn't know each other until we met Shawn, and she created an amazing community around capture the movement. So without any further ado, here she is, Miss Shawn
And
Batey.
that's so great. I actually didn't know you hadn't had your workout.
No,
Like you had wow, it's been really great to hear everybody's story. That's
you were
great.
the first. You were
Oh
the
my
first.
God, your powerful work. Oh my God. Well, I feel
You were the
honored.
first.
I
I
feel
had
really
just
honored.
started. I was just kind of like trickling in.
God. Wow. Wow.
Yes. So it's so good to see you here. And first of all, how are you doing this morning?
I'm getting my juices flowing, so I'm good. I'm good.
So now, Shawn, how did you get into all of this film and directing? And I do believe you worked at for television production as well. And
Do a lot.
yeah, how did this all happen? Where did it come from? Were you just sitting around? Did it start when you were 2 years old? Did it start when you were 12? How did this all begin?
I always wanted to work. I wanted to work in film and TV. Like in high school, I did theater, stuff like that. And ages ago in college, I studied mass communications, which was like video production, PR, and journalism.
Hmm.
And honestly, it started in Chicago. I'm originally from St. Louis, but I went to school, University of Denver. I studied abroad in Spain, came back, but my degrees from University of Denver in Spanish and mass comm. So I kind of landed. I wanted to go to get an MFA at. I applied to a couple schools in Chicago and I didn't get in. Really, it was for technical experience back in the '90s. I didn't get in, but I had a friend there and I ended up landing there with him. And I had a social work job, but I took like film classes on the side. And I guess my first, I think about that. Wow. Chicago filmmakers, they're still around. I took a class, I was like in the early 90s. But if how I really got started is I saw an ad in the Chicago Reader, which is kind of like the old Chicago, the Village Voice, that
Hmm.
said interns needed for an art project, like a document, like a film. And I replied, and I was like the art PA. I got put in the art department, honestly,
Wow.
for uh, Ria Tajiri. She had a strawberry fields. This is like 94 or something like that. And so I met a couple of people who worked with me. One of them took a video production workshop at Third World Newsreel, which is in New York
Hmm.
City, which is for BIPOC filmmakers. They offer very nominal fee video production company. I applied and I took that training program, which gave me my foundation of documentary films in
Wow.
'97. And working on that, being an intern on that art project,
Hmm.
put me in touch with other designers and set decorators. And then I worked on another project, and then I just kind of fell in from that. So like I
Wow.
worked with someone who said, "Oh, do you want to work?" This was like paid. The next gig was like paid, and was like, "Do you want to do set dressing on this film?" I was like, "Sure."
Yeah,
But
hey, why not, right?
in a long and it just in a short story, like that first job as an intern, really opened the door to get into the film industry, like from that first internship, if you will. So that first job working on set, and I was doing like working in social work, and then finally I left that and then just went freelance in Chicago doing props.
Wow.
And really, with my foundation in the industry, really is in Chicago, and then worked there, got my union card in Chicago, and then came here. That's an abbreviated version of
Yes.
coming to New York, hustling, working 3 jobs, but finally got in the industry where I still work in for my bread and butter,
Uh-huh.
doing
Uh-huh.
television and TV shows, and got into the union. But also, I really moved to New York because back then there were the documentary hubs were New
Yes.
York and San Francisco, and so I've always tried to like do my own work and also keep my foot in the door in the industry for for your your income and health insurance and pension and all that.
Yes.
That's kind of
Yeah.
like the nut. But it's interesting. I still know, I still know about the people that I interned on that project. Like they're still making films, and I still know, like I think back that was like 30 years ago,
Wow.
but really it was from an ad in the Chicago Reader.
Wow. And because you are really good. What I've noticed about you over the years is you are really good at one, connecting people, but
Yes.
also staying connected to people.
Well, I mean, I like I like people, but I like-minded people. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
stay in touch with you if you're in the same spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard to, like it's hard out here. So you want to gravitate to your people. Um and just bring joy, like just bring joy. Like there's a lot of clutter out there anyway, so especially these days.
Yes.
Um but that's really beautiful what you said about being able to connect with other Black photographers and Black community. I mean, I can talk to you about how that came together if you want to hear.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to hear it.
Okay, so
Go for it.
so I mean, and you're for your listeners out there, Ron, you're everywhere. Like I'm impressed that like you're doing this, you're doing that, and this platform is just amazing. Which opens the door to your audience. But so 2020, the midst of the COVID, we're locked in our houses,
Mm-hmm.
and the murder of George Floyd and so many other disastrous killings. We all took to the streets, and I was just amazed. And I was not huge on Instagram. I really wasn't. Like, I
Yes.
was just posting here and there, but clearly, Instagram in 2020 and the BLM movement was the method of communication. And I was just blown away at all the photos. Just, but I just said, I wanted to do more. Like I was out there in the streets, and friends from all over the country, people in Europe were really appreciative of me posting what I was seeing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Queen Jean on Thursdays, because Stonewall protests had every Thursday at Stonewall. And she was like, "What are you going to do? Are you going to donate? Like, what are you like kind of putting it on you and the onus in this moment on like self reflection on your mission besides just showing up?" And I was like, this little screen on a phone isn't enough to show the world like what we see day to day.
Yes. Yes.
And I work in an industry, I do props on film and TV shows, like big productions that have a lot of money and resources.
Yes.
And I have access to people. Everyone has access to people, whoever it may be. You may be DJ, you work at the front desk, you have access to pens and papers, and everyone has access to something, to someone,
Mm-hmm.
your house, housing, food, resources, a computer, a copying machine. So our industry was down. Like everyone was available. Like no one was we didn't work for 6 months. So a good friend of mine in the industry named Denise O'Connor, she was out in the protest. I just had this idea. I was like, I want to do this photography show, because at that time, the city was like ours. Like you could just
Yeah, you could do whatever you
hold,
want. You can
you could hold
photograph.
ground in the middle of the street and do do a prayer. Like there were no boundaries. Like, and I was like, I want to do a, I don't, I said, I want to do a photo exhibit, you know, because I was like, we can, I was like, I know I can do it. And from working in the industry, we have produced, like, there's deadlines, like the show is going to go on. Like,
Yes.
we move however we need to do. You get it done. Like, that's just embedded in me. So, but the Instagram account back then was Justice for George. And I put it out, like I had my friend and I said, let's just put it out there and see who responds. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a photography exhibit, Black photographers. I was like, I do not want to see in 2040 that there are no, I don't want to see a Time magazine photo that is from a white photographer in a social justice movement that is about me
Yes.
and us. I was like, I can't, I just can't. I don't want to hear that there's no Black photographers out there. So
Yes.
we just came up with a, a, post and Justice for George. Like it was like Black photographers wanted. Submit
Yes.
your work. Uh, and I was like, if anyone responds, okay. Like I didn't know what I was gonna get.
And you got a big response.
So when it came in, I was like, oh my God, I guess we're doing this. I mean, I really put it out because I was like, this little screen, and not everyone's on Instagram. And I wanted, like, you didn't know what the future was going to show, but I wanted to have a place where people could, if you couldn't go to the streets because A, this is still the pandemic, B, you didn't feel
Yes.
comfortable, C, you weren't mobile. I was like, let me just create a space where you can see us, you know,
Mm.
behind the photography, behind the lens. The hard part was in starting September 1st, the Parks District made they went back to their permit process. So I thought
Yes.
I could just do it in the park and just come up with a scheme and clip them in the middle, you know, like set up a clothesline in the park. But September 1st, 2020, the Parks District, um, you had to apply for a permit. And I applied, but they were like, oh, it's too many people. And so then I was scrambling looking for somewhere,
Mm.
and someone said Bed-Stuy Restoration Plaza, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they had the tent, which is perfect." And I forgot her name who ran that place, but she was like, "Sure." She loved the mission. She was all about the people, and then working in the art department, working in props, I pulled. Everyone was available. Everyone at that point wanted to help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had all this disposable time and people. I asked my set decorators and people that rig things, and they suggested aircraft cable as like the structure to hang the photos. And so I just put the call out to friends in the industry, um, to help me conceptualize how to hang, you know, how to create an exhibit, because we have
Yes.
the space. Like the space was there and it was covered no matter what, rain or shine. Um, I used my contact. I got those printed. We came up with the GoFundMe. People like donated right away. I don't know, you know, Ron, like I'm like, I don't know how we did it. Like
Well, but you know what? It was your heart was so into it, and you were able to scramble and grab all of these people that you had. That again, a lot of people were available because it was COVID, and we were in the pandemic, and everyone was kind of like, "What do we do with our time?" And you know, we photographers, we were looking at our Citizen app and looking for every protest and running to the streets to photograph everything. And you were able to assemble these photographers together. And again, when we were here, like this is at the event on the right hand side. Um, we were all able to be under one tent, see each other's work, and we all were able to see it because we all submit the photos. We had not seen them as in their, you know, laid out, and And it was a great experience because you really did bring a lot of photographers together. Some of us are still friends to this day, where we
Great.
connect, we support each other's work, we call each other in and all that other stuff. We go to different events and we see each other and we're like, hey, what's going on?
That's
So
great.
it was really a great catalyst, um, to bring photographers together in New York City, especially Black photographers, because in a lot of cases, as Black photographers, we can feel like we're little islands in this big
Mhm.
city.
I felt like, to me, it wasn't about the moment. It was always about what's coming down the road in
Mm,
history. I was like, this, I'm in it like thick. And I see you out there. I see other Black photographers out there, but I was like, I don't want their work to be shuffled at the bottom.
yes,
I want people to know, like, we were there. Like, don't tell
yes.
me Black photographers weren't there. I was like, I refuse to have that. So it was really about, like, as a documentary film maker, I'm always about, like, this is the moment to document in 20, 30 years.
Hmm.
We have access to it. We're on the ground. And everybody was in the streets. We are. So, like, it's important, like, the documentation in the moment to me is so important about later. And we just,
Yes,
and also, like, I work in an industry where we work so quick. Our deadlines are there yesterday. So, like,
yes.
the assembly process, it actually helped the people that came along. Like, we just did, it was almost like a job, because it was like, okay, we're going to pick this up from printing. What do we have to do? I had a person doing graphics, another person creating the Instagram account. It was like, and we weren't working. So, like, people were just using their skill sets, and
Wow.
they believed in me, and I really appreciate that. And Ron, I can't tell you that day I captured the movement with were you there the whole day with Brooklyn United, the kids dancing?
Yes.
I reached out to Fogo Azul. I don't know if he came, the Brazilian, the
Yes,
Brazil.
the drummers,
I
the
let me tell
female
you,
drummers, I love them.
let me tell you, dream big. Like, I
Yes,
have visions of things, and I was like, because on Fulton, when they painted Black Lives Matter and the street was
yes.
blocked off, I was like, I want drummers coming off the street into the space.
And it did. It
And
happened.
they did. They did. And I simply just reached out to them because a friend of mine was a member, and I always loved Fogo Azul. And she responded. She said, "Yeah, sure, we would love to do that and support you." So, for your people out there, just ask. You never know what is going to happen. I reached out to Brooklyn United, the kids, because someone else, Power Malu, he's a runner activist. He had an action where there were some other drummers,
Mhm.
youth drummers, and I just reached out to
You
Brooklyn.
reached out. Those kids were no joke.
OMG, and they didn't have a place because all their competitions, and they weren't playing. And so the person said, "Oh my God, the kids would love it because they're not able to do what they do." And the only thing she asked me for, she said, because they have a restaurant in Bedside, she said, "Can we vend?" Because I was like, "I can't pay you." And so she sold food, and that was it. Those kids turned it out. I had no idea what the day was gonna be. The DJs showed up. I mean, it was just like the event just evolved into beauty, but those kids, just to give the kids at the space to show who they are, and it was just so beautiful. I could
But
not
you know
ask
the
you.
whole thing is, I think the story, the foundation of the story of that whole thing is that you had a vision, you listened. I would even say you had a calling, because
Okay.
it truly was a calling. You responded to the calling, and literally everything came to
Oh my
fruition.
God, I can't tell you.
The bands, the kids, the drummers, the photographers, and then it continued to grow out.
Yeah.
That one exhibition ended up being up in I think it was Mount Vernon or with the new in Yonkers.
I was in the Bronx.
It
I
was in
was
the
in the Bronx.
Bronx, or
Yeah.
okay, north of the city, and
And Newark.
then you were upstate New York at the
I did.
college.
I went to Maine. No, I went to Bowdoin College in Maine through a contact.
Wow.
Um, that's kind of a story of a contact, but showing at the college there, because I've shown my Harlem documentary there, and that was great. That was really, really great to show the students. I showed in Newark. Yeah. And I honestly, I was able to kind of stay with the project that year. And I felt like I needed to. Sometimes you just have to stay in the moment,
Yeah.
and roll with it. But it was that first day, yeah, that first day was amazing. Yeah. And
You've
I'm so
always
glad.
had a connection to photography. Not to cut you off, but you always seem to be connected to photographers.
That's funny you say that. I didn't think about it because I always see myself more as a well, I should say you're just a visual artist. But it's always storytelling.
Storytelling.
The root of it is always storytelling.
So
Um,
now you're working on a new project.
oh my God.
You are working on a new project. I'm so excited. Uh, I think my photos I think are in this project or
Yes,
something. Yeah. So,
yes,
and
yes, they are.
I am so excited about this project you're working on. And I want to know, first of all, let me just get to it so people can see what it is. And it's called We Keep Us Safe. And this is a project.
Just let me tell you about it.
And now let's talk about it. Let's dive
Oh,
in.
she is a big project.
Mm,
I we all have all these photos of this time, and we you can be in the moment, and then you're on. Life changes in a minute. Who knows what is going to pop off this weekend with indictments and Netanyahu? I mean, it's just things are moving so fast. So
constantly.
I in 2021, Third World Newsreel, who distributes my Harlem documentary and another short. Um, Third World Newsreel, they're a distribution company that has been around since the 60s, which I highly recommend everyone to look into. They also offer training, and they surround their films are documentaries, and they surround works from BIPOC communities, but they're a social justice organization. Activism is their body of work. Really amazing collection of films. So they put out a call like in 2021
Mm-hmm.
and said New York State Council for the Arts had a grant that they wanted people to submit to. And so JT Takagi, who um, she's the executive director, said, Shawn, are you working on anything? And this is like July 2021. I was like, well, I have an idea for something, but it's really not flushed out. She said, well, just apply. She's like, I need
Mm-hmm.
people to apply with their concept. And so I applied with the concept for We Keep Us Safe. And um, funny enough, when I applied, I said it was going to be 12 activists and 12 stories. Yeah, right. Um, and I wanted to just give a personal, like if you were in the streets and you just saw 10,000 people fill the streets, like who are they? Who are these people? Why are they on the streets? Who's leading? Why are they there? What drove them? So I really want to give like just a personal touch of that moment and like who are these activists? And I had people in mind. Some of them weren't available, some of them were. So I wrote this grant in 2021. Now, I have applied for tons of grants from my changing
Mm-hmm.
face. Never got them. I had a whole drawer. Whole drawer. It was
Grant
hard.
writing is hard.
It is hard. And I had my Harlem documentary really was donations and self-funded. I got no grant. I
Yes.
got an in-kind donation for some like services, but it was no grants, period. So this prime, I was I felt like everything is about timing.
Yes.
So I just spent the time like that July. I wrote this grant. You found out in December. I got the grant, the production grant, and you had to apply through a fiscal sponsor. You couldn't apply as an artist. So with that grant, I was like, oh my god, I got a grant. So with the grant, I was able to hire an editor. Like I couldn't. In 2021, I had access to you. I had access to tons of photographers. Their work was still in their head. It wasn't.
Yes.
So I just had this idea of let me pick the characters and then fill the just put the call out to different photographers.
Yes.
So I had 6 originally, and then I ended up being 5. So Queen Jean, Isaac Ortega, um, Robin Ayers, Helena Tebebe, um, and I'm like, I can't remember, Jonathan Peck. Like
Yeah.
it was gonna be 6, and then it ended up being 5, but I was like, I can't do 12. Like I did interview. I did actually, funny enough, I already had like 2 interviews done already. Like I was gonna do these interviews anyway and just have them. And so I did 2 interviews already, and then the rest I did later. But I put out a call to different photographers and said, and it was hard because it was more like who's available to dig in their work.
Yes.
Who's available to dig in their work and whose work is organized.
And you
That's
put us on a scavenger hunt.
yes. But I knew like if I didn't do it then, it wasn't it because it was still fresh. You know what I mean? So like and
Yes.
it was kind of hard. I had to go through the interviews and pick out each person. I had to get a timeline. I was like, Isaac, what day was that protest and this and that? And I each person actually, I had them give me what they had in their archive and who had photos of them. And then
Yes.
kind of with that, I said, okay, what date is this? And then I said, okay, let me start with a couple dates. Then I can like reach out to other people, or I just, I might have told you themes. It in the beginning was hard because I needed something to grasp to get the project going, but um I reached out to people who had time, photographers who had time, and I had relationships with. It's easier to reach out with someone that knows me and knows I'm going to
Yes.
deliver as opposed to someone who's like I don't know you. So at the end of the day, there's really about 25 videographers and photographers work in the project.
Mm.
I spent September 2022 to January 2023 organizing, all
Wow.
just putting folders and dates and looking at the transcript and trying to get a story together.
Hmm.
Like,
So now I'm gonna interject. So it was when you put all this together. I mean, you put out a call for all of us, and you put a call out to so many people. You went to individuals, and you picked. You literally hand selected everyone. And were you able to was like work with the editor, or there was the editor like came later on, or
I
how did
had
that
to
work?
get my act together because I was like, the money I had for an editor was, it seems like a lot of money, but I was like, the more work I do, the more the editor is going to give me. So
Yes.
I put out a call for an editor at the end of January.
Hmm.
And actually it was my Harlem documentary, Changing Face to Harlem. My editor is Jason Pollard, who's the son of Sam Pollard, who's a big documentary film editor.
Hmm.
And I was like, Jason, who could you recommend for this project? I said someone who, is a BIPOC person who like who really cares about the movement and can deal with a volume of archives. and he gave me a couple of names, and I reached out to a guy named Chris Bravo,
Mm.
who's done some really great works. And so when I met him, I showed him how my footage was organized, and he said, he's like, yeah, I'm interested in this. I looked at his work. It's really interesting when you work with an editor. Really, they got to be on the same wavelength as you.
Yes.
It really, it's hard. It's such a hard relationship.
Mm.
And if they don't see your vision, or you spend so much time with them. So I've been really lucky. Jason and Chris were, I like their energy. Like, you kind of have to go through gut, but also it's not, the project's not for everyone. It's
Yes.
about BLM activists. It's not about um Bruce Springsteen. It's not, this isn't gonna like, this isn't some popularity concept. It's about the concept of the work. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So so when I met him, he was like, I'm interested, but I need you to organize it better, like deep. Like, I had to, because he doesn't know this work. So I had to spend like another month
Digging in.
like organizing it better. I mean, everyone submitted photos, and I had to kind of renumber them and
Mm.
rerun. I had to refile them, categories. I had to do what he asked, because to have him work on it, it needed to be organized better. So he didn't really come on board till March. Oh, so true. Um, so I mean, I spent half a year. Let me back up too, for everyone listening. I was blessed with everything I've done lately. Is I was blessed with time. I wasn't working. Why wasn't I working? Because I had knee surgery in April, and I thought it was going to be 3 or 4 months, but the recovery it was really a year.
Wow.
Like, I didn't work for 6 months, so just I had scar tissue buildup, and it really just, the recovery took much longer. So in the fall, I was lightly working. Like, I was getting back on my feet, but I wasn't working my insane amount of hours. So I was given time. And then in the spring, I don't even know how we did that. When I look back at it, I was working. Like, when I was working with the editor, I was working a little. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was on board March through June, July
Wow.
last year. But then the writer's strike happened, and writers and actors. So like the June, so like that
Did
gave
that impact him as an editor, the strike?
no,
Or you just it just gave you more time
it gave
to
me more.
work with him because
Yeah,
everyone was on strike?
yeah.
Wow.
He not really, because he's an independent
Yes.
documentary. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Probably did. It funneled. The repercussions were everywhere. You know what I mean? But I'm all about
Yes.
labor. I'm a union member, so everything gave me time. Like, healing gave me time. Able to write the grants when COVID was still slow. 2021. If I didn't have time, I wouldn't be able to do the project. Like,
See,
unfortunately,
that's why I keep saying to you that you have a calling.
what is
You
that calling?
you have, I mean, literally, I mean, doors open when you put your, you get the idea deposited into your spirit, into your heart, and then the provisions happen along the way, and it's just amazing to see. And I'm hearing the story, and the details of it. It's just you, and I always said to, I say that to folks, is sometimes you don't know how you're going to complete the journey, or you may know that you know where you want to go, but you
Yes,
don't know how the journey is going to
yes,
go to get
yes,
there. But you just know you got to put one foot in front of the other
yeah,
to just make the journey happen.
yes,
And you
exactly.
do that very well. Okay,
I
so
mean,
now I have a
yeah,
question though.
yeah.
Um, where is this film going to be shown, and how can people see it? Like, where can people connect with it? Because this was a big undertaking.
Oh my God. Ron, like, to me, like, my Harlem documentary was a big undertaking, but this is even bigger because the volume of work and the storytelling. Like, I'm really excited about tomorrow, because I need to I need to see how it affects people. That's my I haven't been able to test it. I showed it at an academic conference in April.
And let the people know what's going on tomorrow.
Okay, so here we go. So weekly plus, and that's a whole. It's been a journey to find a space. So I'm calling it a preview screening because I got a grant, a community engagement grant, to show to. And for me, let me back up. I want my work accessible. I don't want you to feel like you have to pay $30 in some film festival. No, like my audience are for the people, and this project, I think my target audience are young people, high school students and college students. So I'm on a tight budget. I can't go to stuff. So I don't want you to not be able to go see my work. So to me, it was like free access. And I wanted it to be outside
Yes.
because we outside and everything we've done is outside. It's been spontaneous. We gather. So it's at a space, it's 150 First Avenue. It's a courtyard adjacent to the 122 Community Center, which is like a theater art center. There's a
Yes.
beautiful courtyard space. So we're gonna have live entertainment because I wanted to give visibility to our artist activists that are out there. So there's 4 people opening the evening, and then we're gonna get into the screening and the panel. So
And I will be there.
yeah, yeah, I'm really excited because I don't know where it's going, but I need to release it, and I've been ready to release it. I want to see how your impact. I saw a little glimpse of it with at the conference, and JP, who's in the film, he was there, and there's another JP, Josh Pacheco, a photographer, and we were all there. So I felt the impact with the moderator, the professor, and us. And I met JP afterwards for 3 hours at a bar and
Mm,
restaurant. And the screening opened for me and him, just took us back that we gabbed for 3 hours. So
wow.
I'm very curious on how people are going to react. I don't know. I'm pushing myself to just use my skill set in different ways
Hmm.
because the industry's changing and how you see our work. I feel like you can't depend on traditional format or
Oh, media is changing.
yeah,
It's totally changing.
you gotta really think differently, and
Hmm.
I'm up for it. And I don't want to use the constraints of the norms of how to get your work out. Like we have to
Yes.
use each other. Like you gotta we gotta create spaces, and I was like, I think I can do that. Like, like I don't want someone to tell me no.
Yes.
Your film isn't good enough to fit in this spot. I'm like, no, I'm gonna find the space and I'm gonna show it. I'm done with that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on this journey to push myself. I have a bigger project. I need this project to show what I can do to get to that next project.
That's what it's about. It's like what life is about, climbing the mountain, right? And one thing leads to the next. So, as a summary, as we get ready to close out, what do you want to leave with the audience? And if any, and whoever who, speaking of I always ask this question: what would you tell the 15-year-old, the 16-year-old, the
Oh, okay.
14-year-old about what you do, how you did it, and what to aim for as they could take on this kind of journey?
Mm. Well, I'm going to go back to where you said, where can people find us? So tomorrow is a preview screening
Yes.
to to test it, but also I need people there to talk about it and spread the word.
Hmm.
I'm waiting on notifications of a post-production grant because I want to clean up. I need to clean up the sound and do my final touches, but I don't have the money to do that.
Hmm.
How is that other phone ringing?
That always
Sorry.
happens.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna have to hear it. Is that okay? You just hear it?
Go ahead, you got it. It'll ring.
Okay. So, So there will be a premiere and a release later, but
Mhm.
I don't have any money to get to that next step. So right now you can only see it tomorrow. Like I have another academic screening in Boston, but I don't have anything lined up past tomorrow. So tomorrow
Well,
is the jewel.
tomorrow's a
Um,
big day.
yeah. So because life is changing so quickly, like don't doubt your vision. And it's like use what you have. Like if
Mhm.
you're a filmmaker, and I'm like, if you want to make a film on your phone, go ahead. I'm like, don't get bogged down on like, I need this, I need that. I'm like, if you want to tell a story about your block, you can tell a story better than me. I don't live in your block. So it's like you, Ron, have like access to all your audience. You have a platform. So like I would be like, use what you have and don't just go in you like execute your own vision. If you are a sneaker collector and you want to have like a sneaker um like car culture and people ride around in their cars,
Mhm.
kids just use social media. If you want to like show off your sneakers, pull up at a parking lot or whatever and just show off your sneakers. Like I feel like if I learned, but back then there probably wasn't social media and all that. But like
But you know, the old
use your
saying is for we photographers is that we always, I learned from the old timers in photography is use the camera you have.
yeah,
Use what you have.
use what you have.
Use the thing. Don't try to get so caught up in technology. Don't
That's
get caught up into
great.
what you don't have, but you can take what you do have and
Yes.
make the best with what you have. So,
I like that.
and
Yes.
then you can. I mean, cause you think about it, some of the greatest films are made in the past, and they didn't have the technology we have today.
Yeah.
And a lot of technology is right here, and you can do so much with these little computers that we hold in our hand.
Yeah.
Video, you can do, computer, you can do 4K video, and
Yeah.
TV is not even 4K yet. I mean, in a lot
I
of cases,
know.
so
Use
you
what
can do
you
so
yeah.
much.
I would tell people like you say looking back at yourself, like don't get caught up in the new. To me, it's like your access. It,
Hmm.
if you are the kid that grew up on the block and you're still on the block, you know everyone in those buildings. You can tell me I can't tell that story. It's your
Tell the
point of
story.
view. Um, don't be afraid. Like I think I've always been someone my mother never told me I couldn't do anything. She was just like, "How are you gonna do it? And where's the money coming from?" But she never told me I couldn't do anything. So I've always been that adventurous person. I've studied abroad. I don't sit very long. I'm doing better now. Like
Well, you keep it moving. You because
I'm trying to learn to just go. It's okay. You don't have to be out. Like you can be at home. I'm trying to teach myself that.
let me. And while you just going to speak, if you have any questions, you know how we
Yeah.
roll here. Um, put the Q and then put the question. If you guys have questions, we'll open it up for you guys to ask a question. Okay. So continue. I'm sorry. This
Um, I, um,
so that 16-year-old, that 15-year-old,
mm,
you are telling them tell their story, get
just
out there and
just
just do it.
tell your story. Like don't use your phone. Like your phone is everything. I don't care if you write it out. It could be poetry.
Mhm.
You tell it the way you want to see it. If it's like I want to have chalkboards, you want to write on the ground. Like you're the best person to tell it. I can't tell it. But
Mhm.
don't get worried about your audience. Like the anything that's pissed me off more is when someone tells me why is that important? Like when I was pitching my Changing Face of Harlem, like why would anybody care about that?
Yes.
I'm like, that even makes me more mad.
It makes you
So
more
like
determined, right?
I'm like, people care. No one can tell our journey as people of color but us. So
Yes.
like, let's not suppress our ideas, our um, our journeys, our struggles, or our joy. And like, if I look back and I'm like, if I could pull off a photo exhibit in the middle of a pandemic
You can do anything.
to people that I did not, you trusted me. People had no idea who I am, and you had no idea it was coming.
Yes.
You just showed up. I don't even. And
Just
there your
showed
photo
up.
is. I look back and go like, oh my god.
We roll the same way. We are so is meeting you was like meeting a sister, because I mean, and then after that, we would see each other everywhere in the city.
Yeah, it was so
And
great.
next thing you
Yeah,
know, I was at this place. There. Oh, hey, Shawn. And then I'm at another place. Hey, what's going on, Shawn? Oh, Shawn, what happened to you? I see you in this with your leg up.
yeah. I still came out. Yeah, the dance parade and crutches. Like,
So here's a question from Amparo, another photographer.
girl, who is?
What's the best way to seek out grants and funding? You've been so successful raising funds.
Well, Amparo. Let me tell you about timing with grants, because whatever is current is what they're looking for. I
Mm,
truly believe in 2021, the art world realized, oh, we should give more money to BIPOC artists. We
mhm.
jumped on it. We jumped on it. So right now, who knows with this mess with the administration and Adams, and I mean, there's going to be some great work.
Oh, it's gonna be some drama.
Ooh, yes. You know what? I subscribe. I'm on a lot of e-blasts with arts organizations. Um, I mean, and they're film related, but like it's not creative capital, but like Third World Newsreel, Women Make Movies, Brown Girls, Doc Mafia, BDC, Black Documenting Collective. Everyone, if you're a photographer, you got to follow all these arts organizations, and they put out the calls. You need to be following your arts council in each borough.
Mm,
Brooklyn Arts Council. The grant I have right now for the screening tomorrow is Lower Manhattan Cultural Council. They put out a call. It's once a year. And some of them are NIFA, New York Foundation for the Arts. You need
mhm.
to get on their e-blast. Some things roll every 2 years. You gotta know when the time you gotta be on the e-blast or however you get your information and put it on your calendar, because the time rolls up and you're like, oh my god, it's due next week. But you gotta, whatever the space you want to be in, you need to be. I don't even know who that is.
Don't worry about it. We got you.
You you need to. um, the deadlines come, and you just
Mhm.
got to be. There's a grant I want to apply for that's up pretty soon or past, but I was like, I can't. I'm gonna have to wait till next year. But it's
Right.
like you got to know about it 2 months ahead, because it takes so much time
To write the
to
grant.
write. Oh, and I'm thankful I've gotten grants, because I had never before. So they always say if you get one, it'll open the doors. So
For others. Wow.
that's the way I would do. And also, I'm pro just like go to events. Like I'm going to next Thursday and next week. It's the Gotham Film Market. It used to be called the IFP Market, Independent Future Project. They got defunct. I don't know, whatever. But now it's like Gotham Institute,
Mhm.
Gotham Week. And there's a workshop. There's 4 days of workshops. You got to network. Like I'm so excited going next week because I need to see my people. So go to those photo exhibits. You talk to Ron. Oh, your show is showing here. Oh, I didn't know they had an open call. You gotta be in the
You gotta
mix.
be a voice. You gotta be an advocate
That's what I
for
would
your
say.
for what you're doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
networking is key.
I would just get in the know when people are like, oh, that show they had an opening. Oh, they had an open call. It's just a lot of it's word of mouth, but just get those e-blasts, and those deadlines pop up, and they're only like once a year. So it's hard. And when those grants, you got to block out that time. So like, just make sure you're getting on people's mailing lists. That's what I would
Wow.
say.
Any other questions out there? If there's any other questions, because then we're gonna wrap it up. And look at that. I mean, you you were here for a whole hour. You didn't think we
Yeah,
were
you were
gonna
saying I
do
was like an hour talking. But let me think about this. We keep us safe. Relationships are everything.
Yes.
I really would say, and who you are as a person, like Ron. I don't know. I'm like, man, I need to sit down with coffee. Like this platform, The fact you told me you did wildlife photography is crazy. That this to submit your photo. I don't know. I didn't know that Iceland. I didn't know that about you. That you were like, I don't know if that's like not what I do, But like, so how we're connected today is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you can't. No one's gonna know about you in your house. I mean, I know virtually, but I mean, like, stay
You got to
connected.
get out.
You
You
got to
got to
get
get
out,
out.
and relationships are everything, and who you are.
Yes.
People, you may think your project's big, but you're your biggest seller. I hope I'm a nice person and people like me for my energy, and you are your biggest seller. So don't doubt yourself.
Don't doubt
Yeah,
yourself.
don't.
You are your biggest advocate, as they say, and
Totally,
you are your biggest cheerleader.
totally. Yeah,
Yes. Okay, well, guys, well, I'm going to be there tomorrow night. I'm going to make sure that's in this information. It's in this description of this video. It's a video of this YouTube video,
yeah,
and then also I'll be mentioning and I'll be passing it on for you guys throughout the day and tomorrow, so you'll know that the event for tomorrow is happening and where it's happening. I will be there with my little cam and my little everything. So I'll be there
yeah. Awesome,
documenting the moment,
awesome. Yeah, great, great.
and it's going to be great. And I just wanted to make sure we supported our wonderful sister. Shawn Batey is an amazing woman, and I have to say, you have to just put yourself out into the world, and our friendship, our relationship is exactly the example of that.
Totally. Yeah,
And really just stepping out on faith.
to-
You just have to be someone that believes. I mean, I'm a faith-based person, and you just have to know that your steps are going to be ordered, and you got to get out there,
yeah,
and you're going to meet the right person, you're going to connect with the right people. I mean, I'm honored that my photos are going to be in this project, or I should say in this project. And yeah, I mean, you never know where you're going to end up if
yeah,
you don't push yourself outside of your comfort zone.
yeah. Yep, yep, yep. And I don't know, like, just trust yourself.
Trust
And
yourself.
and people follow your lead.
Yes.
Like, I've learned that, like, people listen to me. Like, like, we get doubted a lot in life. So when people follow your vision, it is the best empowerment of yourself. So we got to depend on each other, because I don't want to depend on the model of the industry to get my work out. I got to depend on Ron. I want to depend on your community. That's our biggest asset.
I have to let me see. Look at the address and see if I can put it on here. Hold on a second. Let me get my banner going here. What's the address of it?
151st Avenue.
151st
Avenue, and it's in Manhattan between 9th and 10th Street.
Avenue. Between where?
9th and 10th Street.
9th and 10th. That's that way it's here so people can see it. And let's see, I got that 9th and 10th Street. And the name of the venue?
It's called the Courtyard. This is the Courtyard
The
adjacent. The
Courtyard.
Courtyard at 122 CC, which is 122 Community Center. The Courtyard at 122 CC.
122 1223C.
CC.
CC.
Community Center. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, I'm gonna post that up there. Okay.
150.
Oh, 150. Okay, my bad. Let me make that change that correction. 150. There we go. There we go. Here we go. Oops, save. Okay.
151st Street.
Oh, it's what? Okay, so
151st Avenue.
Okay, 151st Avenue. Sorry.
Between 9th and 10th Street.
Okay, get it right. We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right.
Third time's a charm.
Okay, there we go. Okay, guys.
You keep going
So,
back, Ron.
huh?
You keep going back. Yeah, 151. Oh, one
151 Street.
no, 151st Avenue.
Oh,
One
oh,
five
150.
151st Avenue. It's a
Oh,
lot of
First Avenue. I'm missing the Avenue. Okay. Sorry
one.
about that. We'll get it right there.
We
That's
get it. We get it.
I,
150.
I don't have a control unit. What do you call it? The editor in the back room.
Right.
So
One fifty
151 First Avenue.
150 First Avenue.
Gotcha. Okay, there we
150
go.
First Avenue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And now we're gonna put the one there. There we go. And now it's up there. So you guys can
There you go.
got it. There
Yeah,
you go.
we got it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm
But guys,
excited.
you can also put it on the screen, and I will also, again, like I said, that information will be on the description of this YouTube channel, so you can just put that there, and then I'm sure we'll be pushing some of the events, the information throughout the day and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
That's it, my dear.
Yeah, I
I'm
appreciate it.
thankful for you coming on and
Yeah.
sharing your story and sharing.
Yeah, and people check out just that
Yes.
website, ShawnBatey.com. Yeah.
Yep, and we have that right here.
Yeah.
You can just go straight there.
Yeah.
And if you want to find her on Instagram, you can do that as well. And that will connect you as well to other things, to all her stuff as well. So you can go there on her Instagram page, which is Shawn Batey, Handlebar.
Yeah. Bike.
Batey. She's a cyclist like I am. And she can cycle. She can cycle. She's done some tours. So check her page out on Instagram, and you can see all the all the line of stuff that she's been doing, and the people she's been working with. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Man, this was wonderful. Thank you for joining us, and I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to talk to the audience, my community. Cool. And thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Ron. I appreciate it. Finally made it happen.
Thank you.
All right, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.
Was that wonderful? Did you guys learn anything today? That was really, really cool. So thank you, Janet, for making let us know about posting the venue, so that way it will be there for you all. If you're in New York City, let's go out. Let's meet up and meet there tomorrow, and we're gonna have a good time. And so I have to leave you with one thought. Today is. Do you know what today is? It's National Crush Day. And I have to ask you one question before we get out there. Do you remember your first crush? How old were you when you had your first crush? And then we can leave. How old were you when you had your first crush? Thank you, Derek. Derek is applauding. I see some love there. Really? Anthony says, I married my high school crush. Get out. Nice. Oh, my first crush was, she was Sherry, and she lived across the street. Derek said he was 12 years old when he had his first crush. My first crush was in elementary school. Who else out there? Your first crush. Come on, y'all. This is how we always we close on a high note, which we already had a high note, but I want to make sure. I want to know. I see applause going on. Aya has applause going. Excellent. Awesome. Yes. Well, how old were you? How old were you guys when you had your first crush? Serena says 13. Really? Oh, it's usually around that 12 and 13-year-old age, right? Anyone earlier than 12? Serena says incredible conversation. Yeah. Like I said, Shawn is incredible. She is absolutely wonderful. And Rashawn says 11. She was 11 years old when she had her first crush. Oh, I tell you, the first crush is the hardest one. Unless you're lucky like Anthony. Anthony married his high school crush. But Anthony, was that your first crush? Was your wife your first crush? Rashawn says, I really enjoyed the conversation, Ron. Yeah, that's what we're gonna bring a lot more folks on and share their stories, and we're gonna talk. And yeah, that's how we grow as a community. That's how we grow intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. So I see here, Kelly says Gary in the fourth grade. In the fourth grade. Yes. Anyways, okay, guys. So, guys, thank you for joining me today. And we are going, like I said, we'll have that information posted in the description, and you'll be able to have that. And so Anthony says, hold on a second. Let me get back to Anthony. Anthony says, yeah, it was my first. We were 15 and had an English class together. Wow. I am always impressed by young crushes that end in marriage. That's rare. That's rare. When you find a crush when you are young and then you marry them, and then the great gift of being still married to them after years. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Anthony, you get the celebration for today. That's to be celebrated. I love it. Yeah, Serena says, that's beautiful, Anthony. You know, what I love about this community is that when we do these these off the cuff questions, you learn so much about each other. And that's how you strengthen and build your community. So you want to get to know people, just ask them. You want to build a community, ask random questions. See, look at that. Everyone, Anthony, I did not know. See, we learn more about each other every day. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, so happy National Crush Day. If you haven't had a crush, go out and find one and send them a letter and say, I got a crush on you, and see where it goes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned something. Get out there. Also, again, for grants, get out there. There is also, if you want grants, you can put in, you can do a search in Google, and I'll have to show you how to do it one day. But you can go into Google like you do with like you do with your airline tickets. Like when you're trying to get the best airline tickets, you can also do the same thing for grants or whatever thing you're looking for in Google. And then what Google will do is every day they will send you releases of grants. That's what I have. It'll say photography grant for this, photography grant for that, photography grant for in California, photography grant in Morocco for photography. And so if you put in photography grant search, and it will automatically come up every day, once a day, it will generate these wonderful the information of what you're looking for. And in this case, it would be grants. I'm definitely going to ask Shawn for her list. I'm going to definitely ask Shawn for her list. And so I can definitely be able to have those other grants come in as well. But yeah, that was a good conversation. She gave us a lot of insight. And look at that. Anthony says, thanks for the love, everyone. Yeah, man. Yeah. Get it, get it, get it. Yes. Okay, guys. Guys, thank you for joining in today. I hope that this was a blessing to you, and this was a great a way to focus. We focus on Shawn Batey and what she's doing, and so Focus Friday, we did it. We did it. Another great Focus Friday. Okay, we're out of here, y'all. So, guys, thank you for joining, and I will see you on Monday. Well, no, I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tomorrow night at the event. So later see you here on Touch Base Daily on Monday. Okay, guys, we're out of here.